Welcome back to the Two Live Studios Radio Network. It's your boy Jeff Fox and the Box right here on the Jeff Fox Show, man. Great news today. Congrats to my man Ryan Stewart back on the network. And the Two Live Studios definitely going to be back together in short order, but they actually are back together right here on WSME. What used to be WSME, but now we are the Two Live Studios Radio Network. I got to get used to saying that, but we will get that right. Meantime, the love continues from the 305 right here in Miami, home of the Jeff Fox Show. I'm going to bring on the Real Man Block guest line my good friend JT Wilcox, of course, who is on point when I tell you when it comes down to high school sports to college football. You can follow him at JT Wilcox Sports, award-winning sports journalist. And he does it all, man. JT, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Great, man. With an introduction like that, I got to hire you to travel around with me whenever I walk into a room, man.
You're the second guy to tell me that today. So I do my best, man. I do my best, sir. But, yeah, man, you do a great job, man. So I got to keep it 100 with the listeners. And welcome to Two Live Studios Radio. And I want to definitely introduce you to the fans and those in the chat room. The check is out as well. We want to talk about the Miami Hurricanes, man. I'm feeling good about what I'm seeing here with the Hurricanes. I saw that you wrote an article the other day in regards to this team being favored. Finally, I guess we were favored before in the ACC Coastal, right?
Yeah, but this one is kind of like an overwhelming one. Like, you know, this is like saying the media was kind of all in agreement, like this should be the year, or this is going to be the year that University of Miami wins the Coastal. Finally.
And why is it that folks are saying that this is the team? You know, we just lost Brad Kai, who I understand they're loving in Detroit right now. But I didn't think Brad Kaya was going to have the success early on that I'm hearing coming out of Detroit. I'm hearing some great things about him, but I didn't know. I thought we kind of left the cupboard a little empty at that position. Why are folks drooling over the Hurricanes right now?
Well, two things. Their running back, Mark Walton, is becoming more and more of a sexy dark horse pick as somebody who can potentially be sitting in New York.
Wow.
December as a Heisman candidate. It's not to say that he'll win per se, but it is to say that he could find himself sitting in that room come December, being up for voting if he has the kind of year that he wants to have. And then the other reason is defense. What Coach Manny, defensive coordinator Manny Diaz, has been able to come in and do in 1 year is just outstanding. I mean, you're talking about a guy who took a defense that was very reactive, very, let's see what the offense is going to do to us, and we'll try to bend but not break on it, to a defense that was aggressive, that was attacking, and that was dictating. So that one of the things, the mantras that he preached all season was to be violent, have a violent defense, one that dictates what the offense will be able to do, and that showed. I mean, you talk about the year that true freshman Joseph Jackson had. Kind of, I guess you would say, the resurgence of Chad Thomas, the emergence of Kendrick Norton being able to be turned loose as a defensive tackle. And then those three freshman backers did an outstanding job as well. So the running back position, like I said, with Mark Walton, and then the defense, that's why the University of Miami is finally favored, but overwhelmingly favored to win the ACC Coastal.
Well, I also hope this is the year we end that losing streak to Florida State, man. I'm so tired of losing to the Seminoles. I hope this is the year that we can get it done. How do we look at the quarterback position?
me personally, it's N'Kosi Perry to lose. That's just my personal opinion. I've talked to some sources down there so far. They said he looks good. They were impressed with the level that he was coming in out of high school when he got on campus in May. But one thing Coach Rick is being very tight-lipped about what he's going to do and kind of playing it close to the vest. But right now, it's still wide open. Sources tell me that it's still wide open. The two court Evan Sheriffs and Malik Rozier have not, even from the spring up until now, they still haven't separated themselves. Kosie's definitely in the mix. Cade Weldon, I think, is a perfect red shirt candidate. I think he's a guy that he gets another year in the system and then throws his hat in the ring again next season. But for me personally, I think it's N'Kosi Perry's job to lose.
And I love what Mark Richt is doing, bringing in four McCains. I noticed that he's brought in Najee Davenport, Willis McGahee. Tell me if I'm wrong. John Beeson, John Vilma, DJ Williams, Jeremy Shockey. We're returning to greatness, man. I can't contain my excitement.
Well, see, and that's one thing Coach Rick has done. He's welcomed the alumni back. He's welcomed the community in. He's welcomed the high schools, the coaches, the players. He's welcomed them into the program, and he's really made it a family. Brought back that University of Miami family atmosphere. And you're talking about with the Paradise Camp coming up at the end of this coming week here. Mm-hmm. That's one thing that I can't give him enough kudos and enough props on that. I mean, I think it's just a great idea. They executed it so well with the first day with the rising 9th and 10th graders, the underclassmen. They come, they have a nice big pool party there. I don't know if you saw, but there was a video from last year's Paradise Camp with Coach Rick doing backflips off a diving board. I mean, it was just a great time for the kids, really kind of everybody to let their hair down and just really see what Coach Rick and that coaching staff is all about. And then, like I said, this year they're only doing it bigger and better with some of the guys that you've already named. There's some more that are slated to be there as well. Ray Lewis was there last year. He gave an impassioned Ray Lewis type speech that you would come to expect from him. So I'm sure he may, pop up again to do the same thing. So Coach Rick is just continuing to get things right. He's continuing to make right step after right step with the University of Miami, and that's another reason why they're favored to win the Coastal.
Wow. I love the idea of the Great Canes coming back. And is it just for the Paradise Camp, or do some of these guys really have a shot at potential jobs on this team?
Well, I think it's more. I mean, they have Coach Mike Rumpf there, an alum who's a cornerback coach. I know Tober Bain was there a lot during this past season, working with the team during practice. Mm-hmm. So there's an open door policy for them to come back if they want to come to practice, watch, or have something to say, address the team, anything like that. That door is open. But as far as any true on-staff jobs, I think they're holding pat with what they have. But they have with Coach Rumpf there. He's the guy that has that connection to the UM heyday and can tell stories, can give that first-hand knowledge of how things were and how things went down. And he's another way to bridge having guys come back as well.
Right. We're talking with JT Wilcox. Follow him on Twitter at JT Wilcox Sports here on the Jeff Fox Show, 2 Live Stews Radio Network. JT, man, who else concerns you, looking at it from a Canes point of view, who would some of our main competition be possibly for an ACC Coastal, or are we just that much ahead of the competition according to the experts?
No, even with the experts voting, and that includes me, I picked UM to win the Coastal as well on my ballot. But you cannot overlook a Virginia Tech, with their great coaching staff that they brought in with Coach Fuentes. Same thing with Georgia Tech. That's always going to be a tricky game, a tricky team to play, because a couple missteps and a couple big plays happen, and you find yourself behind an 8-ball against Georgia Tech. And they're one of those teams where if they get you down, it's kind of hard the way they can bleed the clock out. It's kind of hard to come back against them. So they can't overlook those two teams, especially Virginia Tech, I think. matter of getting the ball to Mark Walton and letting him do the best he can, and then put the quarterback in a position the best position possible to succeed. And hopefully that is N'Kosi Perry, because then that gives them an extra out where they say, okay, N'Kosi, here's your first read, here's your second read. They're not there. Just take off. And that's one thing he can do, and he can take off. And that will give that added dimension to that RPO, that run-pass option that Coach Rick has gone towards. I mean, we saw him do it with Brad Kaya, and it left a lot of people scratching their heads, because Kaya is a guy where he's going to be in the pocket, and if he's out of the pocket, you're going to probably start laughing. So now you do that with a N'Kosi Perry, and even to some extent a Malik Rozier, a guy where they can tuck that ball and they can go and pick up 10, 15, maybe even 20 yards on the right situation. So, but to answer the initial question, they still have to look out for Virginia Tech and Georgia Tech, who finished second and third in the voting, respectively.
You know, my favorite player last year on the Canes was actually, I think he was a freshman, Armon Richards. I'm expecting a big year from this kid, man. He reminds me, he just got big play written all over him. I think he reminds me of Michael Irvin in a way, because Irvin, I think, had a propensity for the big play, and I think Richards is going to deliver plenty big plays for the Canes this season. At least I'm hoping he does, based off what I saw a year ago. Are you as excited about this kid?
I love Armon Richards. Coming in for his sophomore season, just came out today that he was added to the Biletnikoff preseason watch list, which is definitely a high honor in itself. Hopefully he can continue to live up to that billing and possibly take home, that award. Talking about a guy who's a freshman All-American that's voted by a lot of outlets at the end of this past season. And for me, Armon Richards, and by extension the other freshman, the linebacker Shaquille Quarterman, they represent what Miami was when it was on top, where you bring in this stud kid coming out of high school, and they are already some of your best players. Some people might think that's not that good of a thing, that a freshman comes in and he's already one of your best players. But you're talking about two kids from the state of Florida that come in right in their own backyard, right in Miami's recruiting wheelhouse, got them, stay here, go to Miami, and do some big numbers. So Armon Richards really excites me. And he, like I said, he takes me back to that heyday, Michael Irvin, more so maybe even Andre Johnson for some of the younger listeners that probably didn't get the playmaker when he was in Coral Gables. But, yeah, definitely cut from that same.
Yeah, and you know what else, man? I'm looking forward to working with you, JT, during the season with Real Men Block. Our boy Leon Searcy, Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. He was in town last week. We got together briefly. And we're going to do the Real Man Block Player of the Week awards for the high schoolers down here in South Florida. A lot of outstanding talent down here. A hotbed of talent, really, for the South Florida area for talent for college football. This is where everybody recruits. And we're going to be doing the Real Man Block Award, of course, with Leon Searcy again. And happy to have you join us as well, as you did last year, and helping us out with handing out the awards to the kids, man. I'm looking forward to that.
I am too. I mean, and think about it this way, to go back to the Canes for a second. 2 Real Men Block Award of the Week winners are now Canes, with Navon Donaldson, who was an early enrollee freshman, and now with Corey Gaynor from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. He was another one. He was one of the recipients, and now they're both going to be playing as freshmen for the Hurricanes as offensive linemen. So that lets you know the kind of offensive lineman that South Florida can and does produce.
Right. And before you go, JT, man, just touching on the high school kids real quick, who was expected to make it to state this year? Like, who are some of the favorites?
Well, I'm sure a lot of people will be happy to hear this. Miami Northwestern. The Miami Northwestern Bulls seem to be
the Bulls?
Yeah, the Bulls seem to be back, as they say. They had a very good season in 2016, this past season, made the playoffs, won a district championship, ended up losing to eventual Class 6A state champion Miami Carroll City. They played 2 just great high school football games. But it looks like Northwestern has loaded up even more.
Wow.
decade. St. Thomas Aquinas and Fort Lauderdale in Class 7A, they continue to be the standard. And that's one of their things, STA, the standard, and that's what they continue to be. They'll be nationally rated to start the season. They're going to be playing a couple of teams from out of town. So you'll be able to see them on ESPN for kickoff at the end of August. So St. Thomas Aquinas, Miami Northwestern, definitely too. Booker T. Washington is right back in the mix. They have a great junior quarterback, Daniel Richardson, who's leading the way for them. So they'll be in the mix again. I know that they hate that they weren't able to go for a 5-peat. They got knocked out during the state semifinals this past season. So they want to get back onto the top of the heap there. So still, South Florida is going to produce a handful of state champions in 2017.
No doubt. JT Wilcox, man, thank you so much for joining the show today. Appreciate the info. Congrats on the new gig at the footballhotbed.com. That's where they can check you out as well, correct? Doing some articles there?
Yep, footballhotbed.com, high school, college, and even a little bit of pro stuff. And it's a hotbed world, and we're taking over.
No doubt, man. Looking forward to working with you once again with Real Man Block, man. He's JT Wilcox. Follow him on Twitter at JT Wilcox Sports. JT, thanks so much, man. We'll do it again.
No problem. Thanks for having me, Jeff.
All right, no doubt. Talk to you soon.
We ballin', boy.